Your boy Bradley Beal. It looks as though the Wizards brass are going to look to try to offer him a $111 million extension for 3 years. The only thing I can really say to him is he needs to evaluate where he wants to be. You know how somebody says, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Right.
Because this is his chance to get out. You can take the contract like Chris Paul did and then kind of lose control of how you want your career, to end or where you want it to go. I do also think I would really like to maybe see him play in another uniform because I don't want him to waste away kind of like Gilbert Arenas did.
Yeah. But I don't really think I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you're almost right.
Uh-huh.
But the Wizards with Bradley Beal and John Wall have been a good team at times.
Yes.
So it's not like he's wasting away somewhere. But for some reason in the last couple seasons, they haven't been able to put it together.
They don't fit.
I read an article today where the owner said that he went into last season expecting a 50-win team. Instead, they lost 50 wins. They lost 50 games.
He thought this after
he thought it was
his
a
point guard
team.
went down?
No, before.
Oh, before. I think if John Wall is there, I do see them pick up at least another 20, 25 games. So I don't know if they get 50 wins, but
Right.
I see them as a playoff
Right, but even
contender.
prior to that, they've been in the top 4 in the East within the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So they haven't lost anything. They've just been constantly trying to find that piece that provides the consistency to John Wall and Brad Beal, but have not been able to do that, whether it be Dwight Howard or this guy or that guy. Nene, they've just been kind of going through big men trying to find the piece that fits to add the consistency.
It really comes to, I think, decision-making in the front office, in my opinion.
Right.
Like not using your pieces appropriately
Uh-huh.
to make a trade. Because a lot of people aren't walking in under their own power and attempting to be a wizard.
Right.
So you're going to have to make trades and will and deal to put yourself in a position and figure out where you want your team to go. So I don't know. This is Bradley Beal. This is his moment to really figure out exactly what he's trying to do because I do know the Wizards generally like to keep that one star that everybody kind of likes, the homer, and they'll pay him a lot of money. They'll max you out to do whatever they need to do. But will you win in the interim? I'm not quite sure with this team. I can't quite tell where they're trying to go. Grumfield's not there anymore.
They're trying to win. And reading the article, and I'm pulling that article up right now. It's in USA Today. USA Today was really good today, by the way. They got a lot of interesting stuff. So there's an article in USA Today written by Jeff Zilgit, and it's titled An Inside Look at the Wizards' New and Unusual Front Office Structure. The article starts off just to kind of give a little context about the Wizards owner, right? So Washington Wizards owner Ted Leonsis looked at the success of his other sports franchises and had what he called an existential experience. The Washington Capitals were among the best teams in the NHL, 2018 Stanley Cup champions. The Mystics in the 2018 WNBA Finals. He has an esports franchise that's flourishing. He also has an arena football franchise that's doing well. But the Wizards, they're a whole other story. So he is quoted as saying, last year we thought the Wizards were a 50-win team, and we lost 50 games. We had an existential experience, and I had to take responsibility for it. I said we were going to spend 30 to 45 days in deep introspection and talk to every person in the organization. So when I read that, what I take from that is the owner has the right attitude, right? And he's been unlucky in terms of the way that the team has performed on the court.
Okay.
Right? And this article goes on to talk about how he's restructuring the management system into a basketball operation system where he kind of has, and I'll give you how he's breaking that down. So Tommy Shepard has been a Wizards executive. He's been named now the general manager of the Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
He has Sasha Brown, who's a former NFL executive, is the chief planning and operations officer for Monumental Basketball.
Okay.
Monumental Basketball is the entity that manages the Wizards, the Mystics, the G League team, which is the Washington, D.C. Go-Go, Capital City Go-Go,
Okay.
and the esports basketball, the 2K League.
Okay.
So all of the basketball under one roof. All right, and then he has a third executive who's going to be involved with training and health.
Okay.
So he's restructured the organizations along those three fronts after this 30 to 45 days review of the entire organization.
Now, I will give them credit. They fired Ernie Grunfeld. He was there on the scene with a lot of the ups and downs that they've had. So obviously they feel they need to go another direction. So those changes with Grunfeld gone, who knows what will happen for them. I hope they can get it together, at least for Naeem's sake, because that's his squad. He's been rooting for them for a while.
Right. Right. So I don't think that this is necessarily a bad place to play.
I don't either.
I think they've just had bad luck, and I do believe that there is an issue in terms of Beal and Wall with chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little bit surprising to me because I would feel like they have the perfect chemistry. One shooter, one slasher. You know what I mean?
But with Wall going down, you have to evaluate the situation. The cap is going to take a hit. We don't know how long he's going to be out. When he comes back, how will he be? These are the things that Bradley Beal has to think about. And
so would you trade Brad Beal if you're...
Well, here's the thing. They are offering this, supposedly going to offer this deal, and I think you have to consider trading him if he does not sign on with this extension, because you got 2 years with him, but you've got to probably look at suitors and other potential, options, because you do not want to get down to the last year or so and then realize that this guy might leave.
Right.
You don't want to be in that position.
You don't want to be in that position. I think it's they should definitely be thinking about trading him as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because if John Wall's not going to be ready next year, you don't want to lose another year when... And I don't, we can't really call it tanking because it's not going to really give you a chance, any better of a chance to get the first round pick because of the new way that things are done.
Right.
But if you're not going to have John Wall, you got to be thinking either Bradley Beal is going to lead us to the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
which is possible.
Yes.
Or you move away from Bradley Beal, and hopefully you end up with a good draft pick, and then you bring John Wall back with that good draft pick.
But Bradley Beal's stock is high.
Bradley Beal's stock is really high.
You don't want an injury. You don't want anything on your watch. You got to probably try to make a move as soon as you can.
What about just keeping him and wait? No?
I mean, I wouldn't jump off the ship that quick. I mean, you really don't have another show in town. The whole fan base will probably be very disappointed not knowing, what this team is going to do without their superstar being in town. So he can put butts in the seats, but you have to evaluate what direction you want to go.
Okay.
So speaking of Bradley Beal,
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Beal also is in the news because he informed Team USA that he would not be taking part in USA basketball activities.
Okay, so we were actually going to go through all of those Team USA.
Okay.
Because there's a whole bunch of news concerning not just Team USA, but several national teams.
We can pick that up.
Okay, all right.
We can pick that up later. The other thing that's going on.